I'm only trash now because I'm fighting back.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean any.
No.
I read all that. I was like, oh my god.
I don't.
Because I watched it, the film, and I honestly, I really feel, I do feel.
Don't. I'm not a victim. Like
but,
that's.
Well, no. I mean, it's like you've been through a lot, though, and it's like it's still going on. You know?
So many people go through so much worse, and I've got, believe it or not, for every one negative thing in my life, I've got 20 positive things going on. So I'm the luckiest person I know, even with the threat of being sued and having my life exposed.
This is really curious to me. You just said you're not the victim, that you have all these things going on in your life. Mm-hmm. Yet, it feels like you, there's a part of you that wants to stay in the vortex, as you call it, of Charles. Because here we are with the documentary. You said you have nieces and nephews, mm-hmm. Relatives that need to know what your story is. If you make the documentary, you can just show it to your nieces and nephews and mm-hmm. to your family. But no, it's in a public venue, in a public space, where now here's a television network and there's all of this press coverage and whatnot, focusing again on the story. So that to me, even if it's subconsciously, there's a part of you, it seems, that wants to stay in this space. And I say that, and so the question for me is, well, I mean, I was just curious if you were still in therapy and how is that working for you? And because the word validation continued to come up. But I'm just curious as to where you really are in terms of this, because it just seems like there's a part of you that wants this to go on and on and on. In the film, you said that you're in this wonderful place. You just said that you have these things going on. But what I see in front of me, I don't feel a person that's in a wonderful place that she says she's in.
The reason you say that I want to stay in the vortex, but this thing was filmed in 2010, and filming this documentary was the best form of therapy for me, because I was so fucking angry and devastated and disgusted. Like, there were a lot of things going on inside of me, and I would have carried that anger around for at least a year or two, I think. But because I was forced in doing the documentary to talk about everything that was going on and everything that had gone on in my life before Charles came into it, it was a way for me to heal. This documentary, I'm usually the type of person, like, on the one hand, I am the most loyal person you will ever have in your life. But if you F with me, you will regret the day you ever met me. Like, that comes from my childhood. And so, I say that because I really feel that I really thought when this was going on with Charles, oh my God, I'm never going to trust another man. I'm never going to trust anyone, and blah, 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 blah. I meet Mark, and we become friends. I let him into my world, into my life. I introduced him to my friends, to my family, and treated him like a family member, like a brother. I was extremely generous to him. He wasn't just someone who worked for me. I shared more with him than I had most close relationships in my life. So you would think, given my past, that once he stole this film footage from me and then started working with Charles, if that had happened to me a year ago or 2 years ago, I would have been so vindictively going after Mark. But I can honestly say that as much as I'm disappointed in what Mark did and is continuing to do, without him, I would not have done this documentary. So I'm grateful for that relationship. And then you ask, well, I want to stay in this vortex. No, I'm trying to purge, I'm trying to just get it out. And yes, I could just do a little home video of myself and show my nieces and nephews. But because there are so many different themes in the documentary, I felt that it would be inspiring to anyone else who'd been through some adversity. maybe they weren't sexually abused, maybe they weren't cheated on, maybe they didn't grow up in a family where your parents did drugs in front of you. And the fact that I'm like not in prison is amazing. And so this documentary, yes, I'm putting all of this back out there again, but I'm controlling it now. I'm not letting the media just swoosh down on me and demand that I talk to them or they're not going to let me out of my house. Now I'm welcoming, because I'm going to use this, the negative, and somehow turn it into something positive.
It's really interesting to me that the way that you say that your relationship ended in whatever it was, because your relationship is still
going
so
on.
full forward.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you realize how much it takes two that's the two of you. And I hope whatever you wanted to get from this film, I hope you get it. I
already have.
Okay. Because when you say like now you're controlling it, just the need to have the answer and the need to do that sort of speaks to someone else's agenda and not like personal peace. Like the need to do all that says so much more than the film. But
you mean the need to, I don't understand.
To set the record straight, to the need to get, the two, you guys are so, I've never met him, but I feel like, wow, I see how this dance rolls on and will continue, but it's not, so, I'm sorry, it's weird, it's not a question, and it's so personal, but the film was so personal, and it's just, I really wish you all the best.
It feels like he's in the room.
You know what? I wanted to piggyback on what they were saying. It's like you putting a lot of time and energy into this guy. And if it was like that, I really don't think he's worth all of that. You could be putting more energy and time into your pattern of coming up with other things and other ideas. And you just giving him so much power over your mind, like to really control you and your life. I mean, that's a lot of power to give somebody, to have on you like that. That's really a lot. And to me, it's like the relationship is still going on, tit for tat. You know, you guys are just, and I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. I don't think he's worth all of that. And I don't think, it's worth giving him all of that energy. Somebody has to be the adult and the bigger one and say, you know what? I mean, you did what you did, and your film was very touching. You're not the only female that's gone through a whole lot of crazy stuff. And the bigger part is that I'm sure he learned a lesson, and I'm sure there's some things that you possibly learned.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't all at a loss. And I always look at, out of everything bad, you can always find something good.
People write autobiographies every day. This is my autobiography, and I get it. If you don't like the fact that it's in film form, then okay, some people, this isn't for anybody else to like. It's not important to me that, it's not important to be accepted. What's important is I get my story out and then judge me, because I felt, and again, there's some truth to what you're saying, that it feels like there's a lot of pain. I'm sitting here telling you that I'm in a much better place, but you see that I haven't moved on, but I have, and I have 4 companies. I've got 10 products that I've invented out in the marketplace. I employ 20 people. There are things that I'm very proud of that are going on in my life right now. I'm a small business owner, and I'm creating jobs, and this again, this is my autobiography, or a portion of my life, and I'm very proud of what I've done, and I absolutely respect how you have taken this, but I would do it again, because I did learn a lot from this experience. I was able to learn things about myself that I had suppressed and buried, because I was trying to make sure my mom was happy, and buried and didn't expose because I didn't want to hurt my brothers. And this was me just letting go of just so much stuff that I've been carrying around for I'm 44 now, so at the time I was 42. But I needed to do this, and I feel so much better for getting it out.
now that you've gotten it out and you learned some things about yourself by going through this experience, can it be like now maybe I could just like let it go? I'm not saying that.
I have let it go. For me, this is purging it. So I was asked, is he going to retaliate? He may. He can sue me. He won't win the case, but he can sue me, and then that just brings us back, you know, into an everyday battle. Whereas this is my film. There aren't a lot of people who go see documentaries. Maybe no one will ever see this other than you. It's okay with me. I don't need for a television show to be here. I didn't ask for the television show to be here.
Sometimes it's just people on the outside looking in can see what the person that's caught up in it can't see.
I wanted to make the comment. I appreciate your courage and for sharing. If he was not a public figure, do you think you would have retaliated in this way?
I don't.
Not necessarily the film way, but the way that with the billboards and all the things that happened that you showed on film.
I honestly, in my relationship with him, I never viewed him as a public figure. I just viewed him as Charles, my partner. I never viewed him as the president of Oracle. He was just, you know, a tech analyst from Morgan Stanley where we met. The fact that the billboards went up has nothing to do, the decision to do that had nothing to do with him being a public figure. I think it was just that I had the means to do that.
And is there a reason why there's not more focus on, it seems to me like this is the main problem, that if you molest someone, you damage someone's mind and their own judgment of other characters and people not treating you right, not listening to your own voice.
Yeah, it's basically when you're 4 years old, having your stepfather molest you, you can't fight back, and he did this for 7 years, and there was no fighting back for me. So my fighting spirit now that I have my own voice is probably more intense than the average person, because I couldn't fight when things were happening to me. So like.
But I thought maybe if there's so much exposure, it seems like that it would be nice to put this message out, make more clearly that is something.
I think that's a message no one wants to hear.
Yeah, but it's a very important message, I think.
It is.
That is the most important to us.
I mean, it's like he talked, I just ripped my heart out, and I was like looking at him and I'm thinking, so if I had the means and the billboard and that imagination, I would have done it in a red hot minute. I mean, it's like I get that part. But the thing is, like your stepfather though, he's still doing whatever, and he's not, you know, he's not really. It's like it's almost as though it's like you're so much of your anger and your hurt almost seems displaced because it's like. But I get it. It's like you can't. It's like your stepfather, your mother. You don't want to hurt your mother. Yada yada. These people did not take care of you.
Right.
And I would never. I believe me, I never forgive them. But I think that if you have the resources, it's like, it just seems to me that you might get so much more out of whatever if you could put your energy and your focus into going after them or helping other little girls that are going through what, because you know, this our society, people don't value children, people don't value women, you know, and that's your message. And that message gets kind of lost in this film, which is unfortunate because he's right. That is like that's like the biggest thing. And Charles is, you know what? He's an asshole. I mean, he's an asshole to do what he did. But the thing is like he's not the one that hurt you the most.
Thank you.